Filters are an area you have to be very careful with in Google Analytics. Once you apply a filter, you are permanently removing data from your account, so you have to be very careful when you apply them. What I recommend doing is whenever you're going to do a new filter, here in the admin area, I would first create a new view. So I have a view here that's called AdWords Data Only. So I'm going to create a view that just looks at my AdWords data. So what I did is I have a new filter, and this was a filter I called AdWords Data Only. And again, you want to have good naming conventions. And here I'm including a campaign medium of CPC for cost per click. I can verify the filter, and then once it's set, I do save. And then what happens is in my analytics account, when I'm looking at reports, I can choose reports for this AdWords data only. Now you'll note I have another filter that I'm using to try to get rid of some of these spam referrals. And you can look in the Google Analytics Solutions Gallery mentioned earlier for some help on finding these, how to write some of these filters. So in this case, I've got one, it's called Exclude Spam Referrals. I've got a whole bunch of filters on this one, but look at the first one. I'm saying exclude spam referrals that come from these sites, right? These are just a whole bunch of junk sites that I do not want to track in my account. So I'll go ahead and I'll cancel out of that. So now we can see in this account, we have several views, others that were set up for demo purposes. But now when I come back over here to reporting, right now I'm looking at the one that has the exclude spam referrals. So I'm looking at that particular view of the data. If I wanted to change that, I could come in and I can choose the AdWords data only, come back to reporting and just look at the AdWords only data. Or I come here, the books.tnarnoldi, this is just my standard view where I collect everything. And when I come back to reporting and I look up here and I can see that's the view that I'm in, books.tnarnoldi.com. And then based on the view that you're using, it's going to, affect the data that's displayed in here. I always suggest in your admin area when you are setting up views, always have one that has all of the data in it. So you always have one raw profile because once the data is removed, you don't get it back. Then start setting up views for other things you need. I definitely encourage you to have one to exclude those spam referrals. You may want to have one to exclude your office traffic, maybe just a specific segment of your data, just a particular geographic area. So there's a number of things you can do there. But again, remember that filters permanently remove data, so you have to be careful. If you're not comfortable setting up a filter, what you can do instead is look at the segments that I mentioned earlier. This is where you are just temporarily changing the view of your data. So segments are temporary. It's applied just the session that you're in. Filters are permanent, and data is permanently removed for you or any other user logging in to view that particular segment, or excuse me, that particular piece of data.